I want absolute silence. Hello and welcome to the Damm Podcast Season 2. Today, I am joined by a co-host you might recognize from Season 1, Episode 4, Cedric van Leyenhorst, everybody.
Yes, hello. Thank you for having me. Excited for Season 2.
Nice,
Ready
I'm
for
happy
what's
to
to
have you
come.
here as well.
Thank
Great
you.
opportunity. And today we're joined by a guest that I seriously wanted in Series 1, but he granted us Season 2. Thank you so
Granted
much,
us.
Rudy Lentze, for joining us.
Thank you, man. Thanks for the
So how
invite.
are you today? On
Feeling
this
good,
rainy
feeling
day?
excited.
Nice,
Yeah.
I'm happy to hear.
Thanks again for the invite.
No
I'm
worries,
excited
it's
to
the
share my
least.
story.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in order to tell a proper story, right, we have to tell the very beginning. But initially, I want to say that you're a very well-motivated person from what I see. You take obstacles head on, and you keep your chin on no matter what. And that's something that I really appreciate. And that's what made me want you as a guest in Season 1. But now, there's even more to talk about, which is something that I didn't expect. So, if you could introduce yourself in a couple of words, what would you say?
I would say empathic, enthusiastic as well, and mentoring, I would say. Yeah.
I see that, well, you are a personal trainer now and an ambassador for mental health. And what made you go into this sort of endeavor? Because helping people physically and mentally is, I guess, to me, the most important thing you could do. What made you go in that line of work?
Actually, I was doubting about my occupation as well in the beginning, and at first I actually studied something else. So I did a bachelor in communication management, but my biggest challenge in that was if I was suited for the companies, right? For the like business wise. So I decided to change my life, and apparently a lot of things happened in my life, and that's why I considered I should do something else with my gifts as well.
I mean, are you a talkative person? Were you a talkative person from the very beginning?
I wasn't. I mean, in the beginning, I was really shy and really on the background. And if you say it in Dutch, I would look the cut out the boom, you know. So I would say in the background instead of going putting myself in front, you know. So
What made you change your mentality?
experience as well, and being aware of your strength. So in the beginning, I was as well shy and I had a low self-esteem, and I didn't have that much confidence as I have now.
But I mean, I saw on your LinkedIn that you started working from a young age. But what pushed you to get a job at a young age? Because when I was, I guess, 15, I wasn't concerned with getting a job, but I see a lot more people starting their endeavor early. What pushed you to initially find a job?
I think part of the culture as well. I was raised in a Dutch Indonesian family with Chinese heritage as well. So my parents were really pushing me to get a job and to earn my money by myself instead of depending on their salary and on them.
Do you have a similar experience?
With me
With-
being
yeah.
half Malay and half Dutch. I mean, I say I would because every time I go back to Malaysia and they see like my dad who's white, you know, there's always like some kind of tension within. Like at the beginning it was, but you know now that like times have changed a little bit,
Yeah.
they're more accepting of the fact of that.
Would you say that your household is ruled by the Caucasian culture?
Honestly, like for my specific family, yes, because it was my mum who decided to come to Holland and, you know, take this culture in. So it was my mum who started learning to speak Dutch. So she just spoke Dutch with me and my whole family. And this is why I'm not able to speak Bahasa Melayu, obviously. But was it the same for you as well? Because, yeah, you had your culture in you said.
Yeah, actually in the beginning they decided me to raise with also part of the Dutch values and the Dutch language because they didn't want me to have some problems at school concerning language-wise, right? So in the later age, I began more interested in my own culture and heritage, and I decided to take my own methods in that and try to learn it as much as possible. Yeah.
So maybe that time will come for me where.
Yeah.
Because what age did. Because, you know, like for me right now, I haven't really looked back into, getting my mom's culture fully in me. But like, I mean, maybe when I'm older, I would like to have some part of the Malaysian culture with me. Maybe even speak the language, because right now, whenever I go there, I'm like a tourist. I'm a Dutch person in Malaysia, you know.
Yeah, but for me, I have a lot of Dutch Indonesian friends as well, or Moluccan friends. So we share the same humor, like the laughs and the same culture as well, depending on concerning the values in the houses. Because if I go to another friend, which has the same cultural background, at least, I have to say auntie or uncle, and there was always food and nutrition, and there were some the Indonesian slang as well and words.
There's always makan, makan.
There's
makan.
always
That's
makan
all you
makan.
hear,
Yeah, there's
which means
always eating. Yeah, yeah.
There's always eating.
There's
in
always
Asian
eating.
cultures.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
nice.
But I'll tell you, it's the same in Italy, yeah?
Yeah.
It's all about food in Italy, so you guys are not
It's
alone
almost
on
like their
this.
love language. That's like, because like
Yeah.
even for me, like I don't know how to speak the language, but then I go there, they always just offer me all types of food and
Yeah,
everything, and
exactly.
that's their way of showing hospitality to me without actually being able to talk to me, being able
Yeah.
to properly communicate.
I think it's because food is like an international language in the sense that you can convey many ideas with food. I know it
Exactly,
sounds
yeah, it's
strange,
true.
but it's also the way it's given, the way it's portrayed, the way it's also cooked. You can do
Yeah.
traditional cookings which have like a slight different flavor, but someone of culture will definitely know the difference, especially someone who's traditionally cultured. But I guess what was the main, as you said, you went to a Dutch school.
I went to Dutch. I'm born here. So.
No, yeah, 100%. But did you have any clashes with people in the was it elementary school?
In the beginning, or
Yeah.
yeah, was in elementary. Yeah.
Did you have any social clashes with anyone?
Concerning like clash. I mean,
cultural
cultural clashes. I
Although
wouldn't
you are
say
Dutch.
that. Yeah, I wouldn't. Not in the beginning because I wasn't really aware of the of that, and I didn't care actually.
That's the
So, I didn't
about
care.
children. Yeah, it's true.
I didn't care. Yeah, and I didn't think much about it.
But did you ever come to a conflict throughout your life?
Concerning racial issues or yeah.
Because we
Yes.
come from an international school, so
Yeah.
we never really had the full involvement of it. But I've been hearing a lot of stories that
In terms of society, yeah, and like in a younger age, like I said, you don't care that much, and later on you get you get to think about society on itself and the values and stuff, and there like for a good example is then on the street I got discriminated a lot, like they want to mock you because you look Asian. Indonesian or Chinese, and they try to mock you with some words, and I don't know why, but maybe because of their own insecurities or whatever. And at a certain age, I couldn't care less. But when I got older, then I wanted to strike back. You know what I mean? Or because in the beginning I couldn't care much, but at a later age I wanted justice. You know what I mean?
And at one point, you're kind of done with it, like, because I mean, we experienced that as well at one point, like, we went into this neighborhood, which wasn't all the best neighborhood, but then you could really see that the kids there, they just have different perspective on the whole, like, race things, because we were just chilling there, and then these little kids, like 6 years old,
yeah, 6 to 8
seven,
years old,
7,
yeah,
8
do
years old,
something.
really young, not knowing much about like society itself.
Yeah.
Then they come up to me, they like mock me for being Asian and
Yeah,
stuff
they
like
pull
this.
their eyes
And then
apart.
you're like,
yeah.
These are little kids, like
Yeah.
who is teaching them these things?
They say like because for me it's difficult to say where I'm from concerning my appearance, right? Some say I'm from Vietnam, where the other would say you're from Thailand, or the other one, oh, you're Chinese or Latin America even, So, but most of the time, 90%, they would say, oh, ni hao, and I say, yeah, I'm really good. How are you? But I cannot speak Chinese, So that's yeah, that's how life goes, I think.
Yeah, I suppose we all have it. I guess we all have the raw end of the stick. As an Italian, I can say that like I also get it, but in a different form. It's like more stereotypically. Exactly. Yeah, but I mean, at one point, I think I've achieved the mentality you were speaking about recently, where I don't know, I kind of feel bad for them, not for me,
Exactly,
because sometimes when they try to make fun of me, I'm like, yeah, you're using a stereotype to get at me, but the stereotype is about food and us being cultured. So
Yeah.
ultimately, it's like you're complimenting me.
Actually,
You know,
no,
so ultimately,
You
I'll
can
take
Consider
it.
it like that, and it's also the stage in your life where you're at, because
Yeah,
now
it is.
I'm really, as I said, I'm confident about myself, about my what I can do, and I cannot help everybody, and I cannot take care of everybody. I mean, so yeah.
But that is amazing because you are a personal trainer and you're a fitness trainer, I suppose.
Yes.
But how long have you been a personal trainer for?
Wow, in this field, in the fitness world,
Yes.
I've been there almost for 10 years. But in the beginning, I did sales and marketing, so I worked in a sports club, and I didn't have that much confidence about my knowledge, though, about my appearance yet. My physical appearance, I was good. I was training a lot, and I knew a lot about nutrition and about injuries and the human body, but I wasn't aware of my knowledge about entrepreneurship and about helping people as well.
So you started off with the business side of things
Started with the business.
to then develop. So wait, would you say that when you were doing business, you really realized that you were like, yeah, I want to get into fit. Like that's what I want to do. That's how I want to help people.
Yeah, the main thing for me was helping people. Yeah.
That's the most amazing thing
Yeah.
you can hear a personal trainer say for real. Because
I mean, yeah.
I've met some that will say that, oh yeah, but it's money.
'Cause-
Doing a job simply for money, I don't think it will ever make anyone happy. That's the reality. I think if you have a cause behind it, of course, money drives the world. You know, we can't ignore money. But ultimately, if you don't enjoy what you're doing, life is gonna be like being in prison. Like, well, every day you just wake up to do something you don't even like.
Yeah.
So that's why. I mean, so you did. I think you did 4 years or something, 5 years of business,
Yeah, and about that, yeah, 4 to 5 years.
and then you got promoted to a personal trainer.
Yeah, I went to, I did some courses for being a personal trainer, and I reached my own fitness level. And I also studied physical therapy, did a bachelor for that. But then I came to a point where I was really unhappy in my life and didn't get my satisfaction for because I didn't know who I was. So there was a lot of things happening and a lot of traumas in my head going on. And yeah, because of that, I had to decide which direction I had to go.
And you chose the one that seemed to you the most fitting.
Appropriate, yeah, and the most fitting, and yeah, what gives me the most satisfaction, actually.
What would be your advice for someone who's making that same decision right now? So someone who's finding themselves in a point where they have to make a choice between two things that they equally like.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of following your gut or following your heart, that's really an easy thing to say because there are a lot of factors going on in your life. And apparently, there's your own self esteem, but also people around you who can influence you in that decision. And if you don't know who you are at that moment, that's really difficult. I mean, my parents raised me with their values, and my friends have influenced me, and the bad things I did have influenced me in a certain point of life. So I would my my advice would be, yeah, besides listening to your gut or heart, whatever you call it, talk to people as well who care about you, and then you can spar about it. Hey, do you see me doing that or something? And experience it. You can always fall. I mean that's okay. If you're 15 or 20, whatever, or 55, it doesn't matter. There's always a point that you're gonna fall or get the damn slap. Well, and that can be more things in life as well. There can be more occasions that you get slapped in your face, But the main thing is to be confident about it, and as long as you don't fall to the bottom, there's always a way up, But you have to talk to people as well, especially get some advice from professionals, from friends, and then make your own plan. Yeah.
I think that's really important.
Because you know how you said you were a personal trainer, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, you've experienced some traumatic experience, you said, which helped you grow and develop. But like the things you learned from all those traumatic experiences, do you implement that in your training program at what you do as a personal trainer? Because you know how sometimes it's like a personal trainer, they'll tell you what to eat, what to do this, how to do that. Is yours, do you kind of differentiate from the others by implementing like the mental aspect.
Yeah, especially the mental aspect, because the mindset is so important.
Exactly.
I mean, during these times, it's so hard during the pandemic. You know,
Exactly.
there's a lot of issues going on. People cannot go out, they cannot sport. You know, so that mental aspects, I implement them in the stages of life I had, in my own traumas, how I got out of them, and then I'll implement them in their.
Exactly, yeah, because you've already had that experience, you can then show them
Yeah,
firsthand.
I've fallen. Yeah, I've been in so much stages in my life, physical health and both mental health. Yeah.
I mean, I have to say, that's the thing. It's like with the current situation with the world pandemic, have you considered doing online classes?
I've considered it, but also you have to look at your the first expectations and as well your strengths and weaknesses, right? So I'm not an outgoing person in the way of, oh, I'm gonna entertain you today. Let's go. You know, I can be like that, but it's not who I am by heart. So I'd rather coach somebody one on one, and I can do online classes as well. You know, but my business model is more than that. So it's more helping people and going into the next level as well, but mostly on both mental health to develop them, getting a better body, and which gets more confidence. Yeah.
I mean, the harsh reality of things, in my opinion, is that people, especially now, people are finding themselves in such challenging situations, being locked in, essentially being a prisoner of your own life. And I think now it's the time, it's an opportunity. It's a huge opportunity for a lot of people who've been living, you know, wrong, because they've been living with patterns that make them unhealthy. But now that they have so much time to reflect on themselves, they have the opportunity to make a move that will better their entire existence. And in my opinion, I think from every bad thing, something good can arise. And I think your job is the embodiment of that. Because I think before I started, no worries. Before I started going to the gym, I used to think that, you know, it's like, oh, but yeah, all these bodybuilders, is, you know, I don't want to be like them.
Yeah.
But once you start going, you realize that things aren't the way they seem. Your body is the most important thing you own because it's the only thing you really own, right?
Yeah.
So exactly. And that's the thing. Personal trainers aren't, as you said, they're not supposed to be the guys that are like, yeah, go on, run from that. They can be. But if they get to you mentally,
That's needed at that time.
exactly. But if they get to you mentally, if they make you understand why the things they're saying are true and why you should do them, I think if you're motivated, gym is probably one of the most amazing things ever. I mean, after a gym session, do you not
I mean,
feel
you
like
feel
amazing?
Good, exactly.
You feel good, you
Yeah.
look good,
Yeah.
you have more self-esteem. And I think it's like mental health and physical health are so interlinked.
Yeah.
And I guess people forget that a lot. People forget that a lot.
Exactly.
Because did you? Well, yeah.
No,
'Cause
no,
did
go on,
you
man.
have you always wanted to become a personal trainer, or did you kind of find this on the way, and then it was almost like coping mechanism in a way? You know, like you go out to fitness, you relax your body, you relax your mind. Like, did that actually help you, or did you want to always already become a personal trainer?
I wanted to do something in the fitness, yeah, because I always did sports. When on a young age, I did martial arts. I used to practice ice hockey as well, and it helped me to, because I'm a small person, you know, as you see, and it got more, because of that, I got more structure in my life, first of all, because all the training part and the discipline, coming out from the martial arts part and also from the sports part, and of course what you said, the mental part. It helped me a lot during my bachelor and my studies, but there was always also a part in my life that I wasn't that healthy, you know. So I used to smoke a lot and even smoked weed and grass, and there was a really different stage in my life. But my first transition actually in becoming a personal trainer was because I got into a depression, and my first one, and sports helped me a lot to get out of it. I had to take the time for it, obviously, but I just worked on myself that hard by doing sports and going outside and working on my mental health, not only the physical part but on the mental health. And then I knew that I was ready for it, and that I could help people as well with my knowledge
I guess that's the real amazing thing about it. But I mean, on a second note, you grew up in Rotterdam, essentially, or in the Netherlands.
Yeah, Netherlands. Yeah.
But where were you born in the Netherlands?
In Dordrecht.
In
Same.
Dordrecht. Yeah, that's exactly why I asked.
Me too.
Nice,
Actually, yeah,
man.
but I
I didn't
don't
know that.
remember.
Nice.
Yeah, I was also born in Dordrecht, but I don't remember much of it, to be honest. I don't
Did
even-
you grow up in Dordrecht?
Yeah, I grew up in Dordrecht. Yeah, it's like
Nice.
20 minutes from Rotterdam.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, this is essentially like Rome for me. It's like
is
your
it.
own city, yeah,
Yeah.
in that sense. But that's the thing. What, as a like when you essentially got obstacled by your mental state or your mental health, how long do you think, time-wise, did it take you, a very well-motivated person at that time, I suppose? How long do you think a period like that could possibly take?
Well, for me, it took actually took a long time. Yeah, because I wasn't ready for it. I thought I was ready the first time, but then I got, yeah, into a gap again, or got slapped again. Well, and actually I got slapped 3 times, you know, because to be honest, it's really personal, but I got into an addiction as well, and that's, yeah, for me that was really hard to get out of it, and it took me a lot of effort to step out of it as well. So because of that, all the things that happened, it took me like 3 or 4 years at least to really be in the stage where I'm now.
Because I'm not really like, I can't properly relate to like the mental health issues, you know, because well, yeah, I don't know. You know,
He's a
it might
joyful
go-
guy, from
But
what
that's
I know.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, I've always wondered, are you able to naturally recover from mental illness? Because you know, you could implement the sports aspect. You could start exercising,
Antidepressants?
reading. You know, yeah. But or are antidepressants necessary? Or is medication necessary? Or are you able to naturally overcome it? Because yeah, I'm not really sure. Like, it goes really deep and complex, like the mental health state. So it's really difficult.
Yeah, I think you have to always be aware of it. I mean, I've only used medication for 3 or 4 months, and yeah, antidepressant, depression, and but for me it wasn't necessary anymore because I wanted just to work on my own health and take care of my own body, and the same actually goes for. In terms of going into an addiction, it's actually, I would say, you want to step in out of your life. You know what I mean? Yeah. Not in terms of being suicidal, because I'm fortunate that I've never been in that stage. Yeah. But I was depressed. I mean, I slept in my stayed in my room for almost every day till 3 o'clock, and the curtains were closed. You know, so and. There were so many thoughts going on, but coming back to your question, I think you never get out of it like 100%. But if you make sure for yourself that 80% or 85 is enough for you, then that's okay, man. And that's okay, yeah. Because if you take too much pressure into that, then your negative thoughts can come back. So in terms of mindset, positivity is it's
core.
it's
important.
it's core, man. It's like,
Did you like enjoy people? Because like while you were in this state, did you want to accept help from other people? Like, was that actually helpful for you? Like, for example, maybe people showing time and dedication towards you, but then you know, sometimes you might not even want it. But like people have that not almost they feel like they should do something, you know, in order to help. But sometimes, I don't know, is it actually helpful for that person or not? I mean, obviously it depends.
it's helpful if you're ready for it. If you're ready for it. I mean, I wasn't ready. I mean, a lot of people offer me help. Like in terms of addiction, I was addicted to smoking grass, and then at a later stage, I developed an addiction into gambling, which is maybe a bit Asian as well. But anyway, it's for me it was forgetting all my problems. You know, at a young age, I suffered some traumas as well. There was an abuse in my childhood, so and in the beginning I was a really intelligent guy, and I always had good grades. You know, And then at a certain point, I just snapped, you know. I don't want to do it anymore. And also the pressure of whatever you call it, I don't want to blame anybody for that. But it is how it is now. But I think of all the traumas I got in my life, I just wanted to forget things. So I got addicted, you know. Even in terms of sports as well. I would sport like 2 times a day. I would train 2 times a day, 7 days a week, you know. And then I got really, I didn't, there was no balance. There was no balance, man, at that time. So it was either that or that, you know. So from one addiction to another, and now there's balance, yeah. So but the addiction, the second addiction was in gambling, which obviously takes a lot of fucked up. This was fucked up states in my life, you know.
And it
Fucked
takes
up states.
a lot out of a person. A lot.
Yeah, and you can't see it because it's a drug, but in another way. So physically, you didn't see it at me, and people offered me help because at one point I admitted it because I loaned a lot of money from people. And they were telling me, hey, what the fuck are you doing, you know? Good friends. What the fuck are you doing, man? Hey, get out of it. You need help, you know? And yeah, okay, you can help me. You can help me then. But I didn't want it, you know? So I wasn't ready for it. I wasn't ready for it. Yeah.
You know, I think this segues perfectly to what I thought of the next topic, is in because I can see it in my peers in the university where I attend, where online classes have affected people greatly on their mental health, their leniency towards getting addicted to things, because they have so much more time to be indoors and be trapped in their own thoughts, that especially when you're far away from people or you live in another country and your whole family's away, what are you supposed to do? And that's and I feel like I feel a lot of emotions when these people tell me things like that, because I'm kind of lucky to have come here before, you know, a long time before, so I kind of adapted. But to be alone, you know, you feel separated from
If
your
you're an expat from another country and you're just alone there.
Exactly, my addiction, gambling addiction, got started when I was alone abroad.
Exactly. I feel like that's one of the points where people
I went to Australia and I was like alone and I felt, hey, where am I? I partied a lot, you know, and yeah, for me it was forgetting stuff. Yeah,
Trying to look for somewhere else to kind
try
of
to look for
distract
something
your
else.
mind.
Yeah.
I mean, so would you say that physical health is a good way to manage both your time and your efforts? As a student, would you say that going running, I don't know, one time a day, you just go for 10, 15, 20 minutes,
Exercise.
you go on a jog around your building and then you go back in?
I would certainly go out at least if you can't run due to maybe you have an injury or you're overweight or whatever. Just find a way to go outside at least, get some fresh air, even though it's only for 5 to 10 minutes, and preferably you start in the morning. You know,
Yeah, it's
so that doesn't have to be at 7, or you can either wake up or at 10 as well. You know, but go outside and then you have structure in you for the day. Yeah, make a list of that. I would have recommend that. Hey, okay, today I'm gonna go for a 3K walk or something. You know, find a buddy. Perhaps that's important as well, or find more buddies because otherwise there's always excuses, right? Motivation, yeah, and yeah, or maybe if you don't want to go for a run, go for a bike.
Are you able to stay consistent? Because, you know, I try. Sometimes you're like, yes, I'm going to exercise. We're going to do this.
Gotta
We're
have
going
a
to get
month.
healthy,
Yeah.
diet, you know, this, that. But then sometimes trying to be consistent is so difficult. And then at one point, like, your mind is feeling, yes, we're going to do this. And then literally 2 days after, you're like, I'm not fucked, you know, like, I'm not bothered to keep on going. Like, how do you find that motivation almost? Or like, how can you stay consistent? Because I try to do that as well, but sometimes I find it really difficult.
Yeah.
To stick to
Because I
consistent.
put myself on one now,
Yeah.
and that's the main thing I think. Yeah, the main thing because I put myself on one, and for me that are ways to stay at one.
Yeah.
Of course, I think of other people as well, and I want to help them. But as long as I'm not fit, mentally and physically,
Yeah.
I cannot help people.
So yeah, you
So,
first
yeah.
gotta take care of yourself and then take care of others.
Exactly.
But you know, I think there's I think this is very profound, but when you think about, for example, teachers and people that work in education, some people do not think like this at all. They see it as a job, but they don't think they have to get, I guess, educated to the extreme. They think, okay, I'll do whatever, and then I'll just teach these children, but they forget that it's such an important job, especially at elementary or high school level. It's because you're molding these people.
Yeah.
So if you're not prepared yourself, how are you supposed to help other people? And I think what you said in terms of fitness is extremely profound in terms of anything. There's politicians who don't know anything about the general public who are making decisions for them and speaking for them.
Yeah.
And it's like I think that's one of the biggest things that we gotta work to fix in the next, I don't know, 60 years. We can attempt our best at least.
That's true.
But up until then, what would you say for a student, right? A student needs, I guess, a round diet, but definitely doesn't choose a round diet, right? I can see in my building that like the delivery people come every day. Like I know each one of them by name by this point.
Yeah.
If there was like an advice you could give to people to vary their food, you know, like
Because this is what I need. Like,
Yeah.
this is the one thing I need, you know.
But you're a
'Cause
sports guy as well.
yes, no,
Exactly.
but this is what I've struggled with. Because, okay, you know, obviously sometimes I look up, how to get fit, how are we going to do this, how am I going to shred? And, you know, in order to get fit, like, the most important thing is the kitchen, is what you consume, the nutrients you
You are what
consume.
you eat.
Exactly. So,
Exactly.
like, I've downloaded apps, you know, like the Get Fit app or something, you know, like, there's all sorts of apps that have, like, nutrients, like, recommendations.
Yeah.
But I'm just never able to follow it, and I'm never able to track it. Like, how can I get into that flow of actually being able to always track the nutrients I consume, the sugar levels, the this, the that? Because this is what they actually do. Like, the people who are fit, they're the ones that, like, actually...
But is that also time wise, or what is it that what do you need for that then?
Like, well, how am I also able to, like, find out what what I have to consume? How can I find out the right levels, the right this? Because-
routine.
yeah.
Routine is one. Experiment. Yeah, no.
Yeah, 'cause-
I eat whatever I want to, but I'm at the stage that I can count my calories likewise, and I don't and I do what's needed, or I eat what's needed. But that doesn't mean I'm sometimes I just eat pizza or something, you know. But and set yourself goals for that, I think, and then you can track it, like in the terms of the sugar stuff. But that's also the same thing with weighing, you know. Like a lot of people look at their the how much they weigh, the scale, which is not a good representation of how you feel or look like. So I'd rather that you count or look at what you eat and what you need, and the energy wise, like concerning if you eat a lot of crisps or something, you know, carbs, you don't necessarily feel better because of the sugar amount.
You feel shit after eating a whole bag of chips.
Actually, you do. And then in terms of routine, you get better if you clockwise it or rotate.
Would you recommend diets like keto diet or the time? You know, there's one where you like eat at 6, intermittent fasting.
If that works for you,
it's just
if that works for you, I mean, but I wouldn't diet in a sense that you would diet for 3 or 4 days or 1 week or whatever, because then you get the JoJo effect. So you vary it in the, so then you get skinny for now, or and then 10 days after that you're gonna get your own routine. Yeah. So for what works for me is make a list for what I want to eat this week. So and doesn't necessarily have to be a schedule. So what's that?
Also avoid certain things, like you're saying, no, I'm not gonna eat that, or just like.
If I have the discipline for that, I avoid things. Yeah. But it comes with discipline as well. It comes with discipline.
And that's, I guess, the problem is that, like, with personal training, you have to teach discipline, have discipline, and you have to essentially endorse discipline. So, has there ever been a time where you were helping one of your customers, if you call them that, or one of the trainees,
Clients.
and you struggled because you couldn't get to them on a personal level?
Oh yeah. There's been some clients.
Would you say that, I guess, was it a mental thing that they just didn't really want to, that they weren't
they not
true
ready?
to, exactly,
They
that they
weren't
weren't ready?
You can see it that way, but maybe I wasn't ready for that as well, and maybe I wasn't honest to them. Hey, so I'm only doing it for the money, and not that I can help you properly.
I mean, that's being true to yourself, as you said.
Yeah, but because sometimes in entrepreneurship, money is necessary, the business side, and then I wanted to help somebody in only to earn money. You know, okay, new client because I was struggling with financially. Okay, there's a new client, but I'm actually not ready for you in that stage. because for example, a businessman from 50 years old who's struggling with overweight, and me as a youngster helping somebody who hasn't experienced business-wise or entrepreneurship. Yeah, you have to be honest. Actually, okay, I cannot help you, and I cannot give you the proper energy for that. I mean, if somebody wants to train at 7 a.m. or p.m., whatever, you have to be there, you know, and you have to. I mean, in terms of knowledge about the body, that's okay, but mindset wise, and in terms of leveling, that's a different thing, man. That's a different thing. Yeah. So there has been some clients, yeah, and now I can look at them. Okay, I did it. I could have done it. Uh, not not better, but in another way.
Well, but I think that's the most important thing about doing anything, even a hobby, an activity, a sport, a job, whatever you want to do. You have to make mistakes, because if you don't make any mistakes, you're never gonna grow. So what's the point of doing it? If you're the god of whatever, like for example, it's like, I don't know, you're really good at long jump, and you keep doing long jump the same way. If you never make a mistake, how are you gonna get as good as the Olympionic, the Olympians? The Olympians. There you go.
So what you're saying as well is like that you have to just try it sometimes.
Yeah, you gotta do something.
High risk, high reward.
I mean, that's with this production, for example, with the Damm slap. It's like there are a lot of hits and a lot of misses, you know. It's like, and that's how we get it. It's because we see the content people enjoy, but we also see what our guests enjoy or what sort of setting they like. And like every time we record, we learn something. But if I were to learn nothing from it, what would I get all this team together for? I don't think it would be worth it. So I think on a personal level, with what you asked before about the diet, I never cared about dieting
But see,
ever.
you also have
but
like
I'm
a good
like,
immune system or something.
it's not
Like
a-
your food, you eat it and it just goes. There's no fat that stays behind.
I think, okay, look, Italians are very, I think there's longevous. That's a really, yeah, it's a word. But anyway, it's like that we have, our diets in Italy are healthy. What Americans call pizza is not what Italians call pizza.
No,
Okay,
no,
just
no,
just so we're on the same
Yeah,
page.
yeah.
But that's the thing. It's like, I think Italians tend to be healthy because of those traditional diets. And I think tradition, if you follow tradition, you have a high chance of remaining healthy, because most of the time, you know, food wasn't, you know, high fat, high sugar. It was just what they had.
Nowadays it is,
Even the richest meals you can find in Italy, like, yeah, sure, but they weren't, you know, it's like you can't eat them every day, but like, even if you were to, I guess you wouldn't die.
No.
But with all this change and all this globalization, now it's like every 5 meters you have an international delivery service that like Burger King and all these people. And it's like for students, they're making them cheaper and cheaper and cheaper to the point where students have no other option.
Yeah.
I mean, if you get COVID, for example, and you're in a student housing, you
it's-
know, you have to order. There's no other legal way
But with
to
the
get your
unhealthy
food.
food as well, I feel like it's all almost like a marketing campaign. Like for McDonald's almost, you know, like the Happy Meals.
Oh, yeah.
They're like promoting this unhealthy food, but they're making it look good to the kids, you know?
Yeah.
Like all kids, they want a Happy Meal because, I mean, McDonald's, they give you the extra toy in this. But then people don't think about the fact that it's actually unhealthy for the kids, you know? And like they're making kids attracted to unhealthy food from like the beginning. So already implementing bad food in a diet.
Like you said, it's cheaper. Healthy food is it's really expensive.
That's
man.
true.
Mhm.
Why is it expensive though?
Exactly,
Why can't it
it's
be the other way
weird.
around?
How much money I spend on nutrition and food
Right.
and healthy nutrition.
Yeah, because I
That's
get
true.
that. I get that.
Yeah.
One Albert Heijn could be
Yeah,
one
Albert Heijn could
shopping
have.
done. It could
You know
be.
what I was thinking? Why have they not implemented a package where, like, you know, you can order that package as a prefixed package of health?
Hello Fresh.
Yeah, okay, but
You know,
HelloFresh is like
but-
50 euros
yeah,
a week.
It's expensive.
Like,
It's
I-
expensive.
that's
It's
this.
not affordable.
Yeah,
No, it's
exactly.
Not, it's not affordable.
I think, well, I mean, students, I don't think the government cares that much about
No.
students most of the time. I mean, they'll care as long as education is concerned.
Duo.
Yeah, exactly. So they will give you money, they will
Yeah.
give you a way to live, but they won't tell you how to live, which is something very interesting. I want to tell you something. It's an idea. I usually give it to a guest and then I let them say it. It's like, do you think there should be some sort of like, I don't know, a government book that they give to someone who becomes a citizen? And they just kind of tell you, it's like, okay, this is the amount of food that you should consume in terms of this calorie, this sort of thing, this sort of thing. Then this is the activity you should have per daily. Because then you kind of educate your people
I mean,
without
it's
even
almost what a
trying.
personal trainer.
So,
But it's a book.
yeah, perhaps you should do it or implement it in schools, at schools.
Because they don't,
At least.
teach you about that.
They don't teach you about nutrition or
None of that. Which is
no, and
something
even
I
in the
hate.
canteens, they serve like the apple pies and the sausage bread, you know.
Yeah, so it's like,
But you know what I loved, like because there was a Japanese show in Italy on Italian TV that I would watch as a kid, and like they would go to schools and teach like children how to cook and how to behave in their house.
yeah.
And like I thought about that, and to me that was the coolest thing ever. You have like a bunch of children that are like 8 years old, 5 to 8 years old, learning what to do and what not to do in your own house. I mean, in the U.S., one of the highest causes of deaths that are related to fire is because they take the pan filled with hot oil
Put
and they
water on
put
it.
cold water in it, and then boom, it explodes and everything is on fire.
Because people think, how are you going to turn off the fire? Water.
I mean, that's the thing, but an 8-year-old in Japan knows better than a 40-year-old in the US. And that's, I think that's...
Education levels as well,
Yeah, but I think it's also a way, like, if you're right, if Erasmus implemented a way to, as for example, University of Erasmus, if they implemented a subtle way to, introduce health routines to their students, I think that would be really interesting. But also, I mean, as a matter of fact, as a factual evidence, the Erasmus University has been asking students about their mental health a lot more than ever. We received around 5 to 6 questionnaires a week about it. And that's the thing, it's like they do care about your mental health and everything, but they don't really give you many ways out of it. They're like, oh, but if you want to call, someone, here's a number. It's like, but as a student, I'm never going to call anyone about my problem. I don't call my parents about my problem. How am I supposed to call, this random person I've never met before who's behind a phone telling me to live better? Like, I mean, it's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, knowledge is one, but implementing is second, and that's the most important thing, I think, in terms of training, nutrition as well, because you can lead by example, but you have to give them tools as well, For example, if you go to the supermarket, then somebody has to know, okay, this is good for me now at the moment, and okay, and I have to know how to cook it or prepare it, and yeah.
I was curious about this whole time I've been curious. So like prior to this, I did a little bit of research, and I looked up Rudy Lentze, right? That's your name.
That's my name, yeah.
But then I looked up Rudy Lentze, but then I saw like YouTube videos of another guy called Rudy Lentze.
There's a musician.
Are you related to him by any?
Yeah, because all
You are related to
the surnames are related. Like the history is that I think it was the grandfather of my father.
Yeah.
There were like 3 or 4 brothers who came to the Netherlands because of the colony, from Indonesia was a colony of the Netherlands. But my surname is actually German.
Yeah.
So 2 brothers or 4 went to Indonesia, then they started families, and then they went back to Europe or something like that. So everybody with this last surname is related to each other.
Wow.
Yeah, we even had a big reunion.
Because the story was way too almost similar, because it said that he came from Indonesia, he came to Holland, to Groningen, and then he went to Groningen to learn German and Dutch.
Okay, wow.
And I was like,
Yeah.
you also speak 6 languages,
as a
or now
matter
in
of
your
fact.
7th currently. So I was like, are these guys related by any chance? But so how is it? Like, what is it?
Technically related by blood.
Yeah.
It's from the same family tree. Family tree, yeah.
Because I was like, this is way too much of a coincidence to like not be. Because
I mean, as you just said, actually, you're studying your 7th language, which to the audience said briefly sounds like it's an average thing, but I want to make sure that the audience doesn't feel like they're, like, I don't know, speaking 3 languages is cool, all right?
Yeah.
Anyone at home, if you speak 4 languages, you're cool. But speaking 7, I mean, you're getting to the 7th, but I mean, were you always into languages?
Yeah, because I didn't, in terms of confidence, at school I was really good at languages. So I was like, okay, I got good grades in it. So I wanted to get it to the next level. And I was really interested in it. Because for me, part of a language is also getting to know other people's culture a bit and communicate, It makes it more easy, at least.
I mean, go on.
No, like, when I'm like relating back to that thing, because once you said with communication and everything, because when I read this story, it was almost like the one I just said before about like my family visiting Malaysia, and then there's kind of a, because it said here like apparently in 1979 they went back to the village in Indonesia of the mother, right, and then there was apparently when they went back to the village of the mother, there was a really hostile environment, and the people from the village, they called the woman a betrayer and everything, and like it got so bad to the point that the father, which grandparent,
Whatever.
he had to actually carry a gun because it was so like hostile. But then apparently, over some time, like he sent money back to the village, try to, and then, I mean, now over time they've like improved the relationships and everything. But then when I read that, I could almost relate to it, like how sometimes when I walk around with my family, and then there's my mom, and then there's just a white dad, and then people are looking at us on the street like, what is this,
Yeah.
So I could always, I was like, whoa, this is very similar.
It's a small world. I mean,
Yeah.
like, yeah, with the same name as your first guest.
Exactly. Yeah,
It's
there's
a very
Rudy
similar. Yeah,
Lentze,
it's his
that's
first
what
guest.
I was
That's
like,
wow.
this has to be, but
Who would have
I
known?
thought I could.
Wow,
the
that's
Pastor
really
Malam,
great.
the Pastor Malams.
Yeah.
We miss those too.
Yeah. We miss a lot of things in the social life.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I have a similar experiences with my village, I guess, village in
Yeah.
Italy, but it's not to the same extent. I mean, I look exactly like them, so it's like,
Exactly.
to them, like, they don't have any problem. It's just a weird thing, but I guess
Yeah.
that's still the stage in where we're at with society. But as a matter of fact, I know you got in a car accident recently.
Yeah.
It must have been terrifying. I heard about it the day that it happened. I was very worried
How
about it.
long was it?
2 weeks
Really?
ago.
Oh, 2 weeks.
2
ago?
months.
Okay,
2 months.
whew.
2 months.
I was about to say, maybe I forgot.
Yeah, and the last day of November it was, yeah.
Yeah, we were about
Was
to
it-
record season 1.
Yeah.
I think so, somewhere around there, maybe before. But I remember the day that it happened because my financer came to me and told me the situation. I was kind of baffled. I mean, you in that period of time, you were doing great.
I was, man. I was in a good flow.
Is
I
there
was
was, are you back?
No,
I think he is.
I'm still, I still am actually, but I really was scared that I would get lost again because of that accident. So basically, I got hit by another car, the passenger, and so my car got total loss. And I'm lucky that I got out of it.
No, that's that's
physically
the most
really
important
good. I
thing.
had some back pain, of course, obviously, which I'm treated for at the physical therapy, but still, and mentally as well. Because only the first week I was like crying and screaming a lot. What happened to me? Shit, just again slap.
Another
Again a
slap,
slap, another one. But then what I did is I talked with a lot of people about it. Okay, this happened to me, and I'm feeling really fucked up about it. I was honest about my feelings, and I talked about really cool people. And then I decided to just stay in the positive flow. Yeah.
Did your like expertise in the fitness and the mindfulness kind of help you through that process?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, like-
I know so. Actually.
Yeah,
I know
because, so you used everything that you teach to your clients. You
Yeah.
had to like just.
Yeah.
I mean,
reiterate
that's.
and-
I have to be honest. That's the reason why I introduced you as a man who faces obstacles and keeps his chin up. Is because, I mean, I had seen you. You were working so hard.
I do a lot of chin-ups as well.
Oh, nice.
Chin up.
Okay, that's
The
good.
muscle up.
As well.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, the reason why I mentioned that is also because I was aware that you were working every day until the very end of the day, from the very beginning. And I have to say, like, I was a witness to that. And then to hear that you were involved in such a car accident kind of shook my world, because it's like you had so many things to worry about, and then all of a sudden you have a thing that is so much more important, that is your own life. So was there a moment, like I guess after the accident, when you had time to think, was there a moment where you realized it's like, okay, but ultimately I'm living this life? It's like, it's such a fragile thing, but it's my life.
Yeah, there was a moment that I realized it. Yeah, and then there's always things that can happen, obviously, but you have to, you're like, you have to take care of your own life, and you're aware of that, and you're the producer of your own life. Yeah.
That's really wise. But at the end of the day, I mean, right now, as of now, are you able to drive? Do you want to drive?
Yeah, I drove immediately like the third day already or something.
Because I've heard of a lot of people who get in car accidents and then they kind of have like a post-traumatic behavior towards it. So it's like
Yeah.
they're constantly scared of like,
Can
especially
imagine
when you
that.
get
That's
hit by someone
understandable.
else.
Can imagine that, yeah. And I did some meditating as well for that, and even went to church, but spiritually, and because I was already in a stage that I was confident about my own life, so I didn't want that to be an obstacle, you know. Yeah.
I mean, I think this, you see, I have this theory that every bad thing happens, but we can't determine it being bad
reason,
because,
yeah.
exactly, maybe it has a better, better perspective to look at from. But, I mean, as that, if you come across a customer who has had a similar experience, you will know exactly what he's going through. And that's something that I think you see, bad things happen to give people a better understanding.
Yeah, because know what's funny? If I can interrupt you.
No, no worries.
The 3 weeks ago, I got approached by a client who wanted help from me, and we worked on her fitness level. We're working on it still, and she got into an accident, in a car accident. So yeah, I could level immediately. Yeah, yeah.
I mean, bad things, how can we say that things are bad if we don't even know why we're here?
That's yeah.
It's true. We
I-
just perceive them as bad.
We perceive
At the
things as
moment,
bad, but what do we
yeah.
know? They could turn out to be the
The
greatest
bigger
thing
picture
ever.
we don't see.
The greatest
We're
picture.
like tunnel vision.
I mean, ultimately, after this podcast, we gotta rework our entire eating.
I mean, I would want to. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna do that.
I mean, apps, I
I
don't
need
think they work, but they do work language-wise. As you said, you were learning Italian on
The apps
Duolingo?
or the apps?
Oh, both. Both. I suppose both
working.
help. But I think, I don't know, health apps, I think you're correct in saying it's all a mental thing. So if you're not ready mentally, I don't think an app telling you, sending a notification going, oh, go
No.
outside, I don't think it's going to help you too much if you're not willing to do it. However, language-wise, I think they can help. Doing things over and over
It's
and over.
knowledge, Yeah.
Yeah.
It's technology, so.
The technology is amazing, but I mean, are you planning in the near future to start things online with your own business?
Yeah, I will, because
Where-
it's
where
also
could-
future.
Exactly, the
Also
future is changed.
Yeah,
all-
it's changing.
it's
You can
online.
reach more people with that. It
Exactly.
doesn't have to be online classes, but you can do coaching as well.
Because I saw you set up your Instagram page around before this production even began, and you've been working on that. So where do you think the audience can find you? Where would it be most appropriate for them to find you?
Depends on your stage of life as well. I mean, students apparently look on TikTok and or now maybe not, but
Or in social media
social media,
platforms.
Social
at
media
least,
for sure, yeah.
Instagram.
Yeah.
And then business-wise, I've talked to a lot of entrepreneurs who are already established. So they have their own good running company, and they approach me through LinkedIn, you know, and some housewives, if I can call them like that, don't feel offended, but they look on Facebook, you know.
That's true.
So-
actually, yeah.
Yeah, but in terms of because I'm apparently also working a lot in the student hotel, which I find awesome, and I talk to a lot of students, and they connect through me by Instagram.
Instagram.
Yeah,
fair
because I know of a lot of people, a lot of our viewers actually happen to be from the student hotel, whether it's Rotterdam or any other region. So I mean, you work you work in the student hotel of Rotterdam. So if anyone is living there and you want to, broaden your mind and actually find some direction in life, unlike us,
enough. I would want to. Actually.
yeah,
I
then
need
you
that.
can definitely
I need that.
hit him up.
But I learned from you as well. So
I mean,
That's
that's
one way.
is the least we could do. If you have any final remarks, we like to do this with any guest that you can look at any camera. I mean, any camera, that camera right there. If you have any final remarks or anything you would want to say to
The camera, the world,
the world,
Not
yeah,
the camera.
the audience.
the audience.
well, to summarize it, take the region of your own life. I mean, everybody's going through a lot of struggles, yeah. But be honest about it and share it as well to good friends and family. And as long as you get to know yourself, you will get there, man. There's always a part that you will fall down, but get up, get up, get up, man. That's my message. You will get there. I mean, yeah. If I can do it, everybody can do it, man. Yes.
Stuff,
Thank you
man.
guys for joining us for the
Yes.
first episode, I suppose. I don't know.
Exciting, yeah, first
But it was very great. Thank you for joining us as the guest.
Thank you so much.
Rudy Lentze, everybody. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.
Thanks, man.
Peace.